GarageBand Weekly, GarageBand Weekly, GarageBand Weekly. Need an answer to your question? John, he'll have a suggestion. He's a fountain of all knowledge. I think he might have gone to GarageBand College. What he doesn't know, we'll try and find out. So join the chat and give him a shout. Hey, John. Hey, John. GarageBand Weekly.
Good day, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome into GarageBand Weekly here on Studio Live today. Now, we are just 3 days away from Apple Creator Studio changing our worlds. Well, at least that's what the hype would tell you. And out and about in the internet and the forums and the Facebook groups of the world, it's either the world is on fire, let's yell at clouds, or this is going to be the best thing ever. The truth will be somewhere between the two, almost definitely. But hey, you know what? You do you, boo. If folks want to get on their high horse about subscriptions, that's cool. I just think it's another thing. I just think it's another step in the direction that the world's kind of going, which is subscriptions. And Apple are following along. And Apple Services model through Apple One and Apple Music and Apple TV and Apple everything has all been pretty clear that we're going this direction. So whether you love it, whether you hate it, we'll talk about it a little later in the show. We're also here to talk about all things GarageBand, all things Logic Pro, all things music, all things home recording and creating. So if you're in the mood for a yap, as the kids are saying, about all those things, do let me know. And you can also go ahead and leave your questions. If you have a question, just put a big Q in front of your question and I will endeavour to answer it. And we do this each and every week thanks to, well, me. Yes, this is a show that is sponsored by myself, and if you want to find out all about the videos and the links and the everything GarageBand related, just jump on over to studiolivetoday.com/GarageBand. It's your one-stop shop for all things GarageBand. I do like that I have an intro to this show because it goes GarageBand Weekly. It almost says it the two different ways that we all say it. Let's say good day to all the folks who are here. Hello, Jade Star. Hello to Costa. Hello to Thomas Christ. Hello to Mark Bro. G'day to you, Al Davis Music. I hope you're all doing swimmingly today. Stay cool. Hot take, the next big subscription will be GPUs. And that's a hot take both literally and figuratively because them GPUs gets hots. All right. Well, in fact, we've got a story about something that used a lot of power. Remember when we were worried about the power use of cryptocurrency before AI started using all the power? Yeah, well, crypto's had a bit of a shot across the bow this week. G'day, Bradley McKnight. Hope you are doing well, my friend. And again, thank you for all the well wishes. I've been crook for about a week and a half now. It's I was hoping it would be one of those 24-hour, 48-hour kind of bugs that just come and go, and then you're fine. It's been a lingerer. I'm with Dolores from the Cranberries. Do you have to? Do you have to? Do you have to let it linger? I keep blowing my nose for you. You got me coughing and spluttering. On paracetamol still. Do you have to? Did you have to? Did you have to let it linger? iOS 26.2.1 has been released. Continuing Apple's quick release cycles where they're like, 26.2, and just when I get all of my friends and relatives and people updated to 26.2 because it's a big giant security hole, there's 26.2.1. Do I update now? And look, I don't begrudge folks. I get it. You get told conflicting things, don't you, about updates. I'm here telling you, hold your horses. Sometimes you don't want to update. And then the very next update, I'm like, crucial, critical, day 1, 0-day hack, update immediately. So people come to me and they're like, I don't know what to do. The bottom line is, if you're just a regular user and you don't use a whole lot of high-end or reliant apps that are going to necessarily brick if you update, just update. It is always safer as a regular person, if you're just using your phone as, a phone, or let's be honest, a doom scrolling device for Instagrams and TikToks, then update. just all the time, always. Put them on automatic, for goodness sake. Just let it update, because you're more likely to to come a cropper. You're more likely to get into trouble with security vulnerabilities than you are with incompatibility of apps. Just a fact. However, if you are savvy enough to navigate your way around things, you're not going to click the monkey. You're not going to do the wrong thing by putting yourself in a vulnerable position, by going into to browsers and clicking and tapping on links that are dodgy or don't look quite right. Ever get a web link that wasn't quite right? Yeah, you don't want to do that. And because a lot of the vulnerabilities are related to WebKit, which, as we know, runs everything. Safari, Chrome, everything, every browser, every Facebook browser is Chromium on your iOS devices. So, yeah, get your friends, get your families to update to the latest iOS and iPad OS. They will be safer. How many viewers? Well, hopefully by context, come a cropper. See, this is what we do on this show. We go off on tangents. What is the origin of the phrase come a cropper? Because it basically means to stuff up, to mess up. The phrase come a cropper, meaning to fail spectacularly or fall heavily, originated in 19th century British hunting, referring to a severe fall from a horse, is derived from the older idiom neck and crop. Falling head over heels, and potentially linked to the croup, the hindquarters of a horse. So come a cropper means you're falling off the arse end of your horse. Heavily. It is late for Songtember, but you know what? If you sent me in a Songtember song to play on YML, I will play it. And I did. I had a good rest day yesterday. I did nothing. Tesla just removed its autopilot feature and put it behind a $99 paywall, because of course they did, because that's what people do these days. They do that. They put things behind paywalls. Hello, Joglen. Hope you are doing well. It's very hot here. I checked the weather before the show. Don't worry, we'll get back on into more stories, but thought you'd like to see, especially for those that are on the East Coast, where they tell me that there's been many, many inches of snow, probably 12 inches of snow. Wasn't that the name of Snow, the rapper from Canada? Wasn't his album called 12 Inches of Snow? In like a bit of a double entendre, because he's like, no, I'm saying 12 inches, baby. No. But 12 inches is a record, of course. That was what I was alluding to. So here's my day. It's going to be hot, then it's going to stay hot, then it's going to continue hot. No, we've actually got a cool change coming in. So it's 41 degrees outside right now at 8:30 a.m. Yep. It's going to get up to 43 today, but it is going to taper off after 3 p.m. to 37, 34. And look at this. This is when Johns will be out and about after 9 p.m. when it's down in the mid-20s. That's when I'll be going for my walk today. I won't be out there in the 43 degrees. I'm nuts, but I'm not that nuts. Learn all your slang from the Dundee movies. Yeah, except don't say, there's not a knife, that's a knife. Because if you carry a large machete around in Australia, you will get stopped by security guards and the police and probably arrested and have it confiscated. We do not take... There is no such thing as an open carry state in Australia. There's no such thing as open carry at all. You can carry a can of beer down the street, though. That's pretty good. You're allowed open canisters of alcohol. So that's the thing in Australia. No guns, but you can have as much booze as you want pretty much wherever. Oh, maybe not, there's a bit around the city. Don't wander down the city streets and in front of the kiddies with your open can, but pretty much everywhere else. Parks, yeah, no dramas. Down the street, yeah, no worries. Down the shops, oh, yeah, just don't take it into a booze shop. Don't take your own booze into a booze shop. And when you're flying on those cheap airlines, you're not allowed to bring your own. No, BYO. A lot of people get in trouble. They're like, what do you mean I can't bring me 6-pack of 4X on the plane? I paid for it. Well, I didn't. Actually, I nicked it, but, oh, God. Love you, Queensland. Yeah, 44 in Melbourne today. It's hot all over the world, all over the country. 12 inches of snow. Informer, a leaky boom boom now. Apparently, a leaky boom boom didn't mean like a leaky bum bum. Like I thought it was just when you got to go and you don't quite make it. No, a leaky boom boom means to unalive someone. Sorry, see how I use the young person's lingo. Thought this story was interesting. It's the Australian Open tennis here at the moment. Oh, yeah, it's 44 degrees and there's blokes and ladies running around grunting on tennis courts. Influencers are now shaping how fans experience the Australian Open. And we've seen this. The reason I brought this story up is that we see it in sport, we see it in like fashion, we see it in like movies, we see it in events, and we definitely have started to see it in the music world. Gone are the days where, you know, your people with the press badges were journalists from like Rolling Stone magazine, or heaven forbid, your local street press, RIP Rip It Up, RIP DB magazine, RIP, you had a cool one in Melbourne. Coldie or Jay will tell me. You had street press. You had the Metro. I think that might still exist. The one that you find on the floor of trains for free. So we're seeing this everywhere. And over at NAM, the journalists just aren't really even covering this sort of stuff. Same with CES that we had. It was all TikTokers and Instagrammers and influencers. So I thought it was pretty funny that, Tennis Australia are leaning in to creator-led promotion. And look, that's me, right? I'm not a journalist. Nope, I'm not a journalist. I choose to be independent, but I don't have to be. And this is the problem, is journalism used to be about Apple give journalists an iPhone to check out and then to talk about what it's like. They also give me an iPhone to talk about. Now, the difference between me and a journalist is not actually that different for me, because I will always say this was provided as a review unit for me to check out so I can tell you all about it and use it to demonstrate in my videos here. That's not necessarily the case for everyone. Some may choose to not disclose that. And that's the sort of thing we're seeing with this influencer-led marketing, is that it's not journalism at all. It is 100% pay for comment. And it is happening to you right now, whether you know it or not. So if you've seen a review of that band's album, or that playlist that you've been told is really cool, or that new piece of audio gear, or new piece of music gear, or new piece of software, follow the leader, follow the path and the connection there. Because what creators should do is what creators have to do by law and by the terms of service of all the platforms is disclose anything that they get for free. And people think, I only have to disclose if I get paid. No. Goods, services, experiences are all a form of payment. They're all a form of reciprocation. So, yeah. But you know what? Does the little tiny hashtag ad at the bottom of your Instagram post, is that enough to tell us that, you've been paid to use this stuff and you've been paid to say the certain things? And in the absolute worst cases, it's uncommon, but in the absolute worst cases, people are having to have their comments vetted by the actual company or the organization that they're promoting. And don't get it twisted. This is not journalism. This is not reporting. This is promoting. So I just thought it was interesting, the crossover between things like sports influencers and music influencers. It's a thing. All right. I'm popping to the grog shop right now. It shuts soon. I literally had that, a botlo. I literally had that yesterday. I tried to get too much information, but I tried to get some beer delivered with my shopping because I know my supermarket also has a liquor store and they deliver my food and you can also get some beers. And they were unavailable. So they refunded me for that. And then I'm like, it's a public holiday. All the botlos are going to shut soon. I was like, I'll go for a walk and go down to the local botlo. So I went to my local Dan's and grabbed a 6-pack. But yeah, it was interesting. I literally had to go to the botlo because it was literally closing soon, and it was 44 freaking degrees, so I wanted to have a quiet beer in the evening. All right. Look, it's all interconnected, isn't it? It is. And again, I don't begrudge it. To me, it reminds me of the AI stuff, right? It reminds me of the fact that I care less about people choosing to use AI. I care more about people telling me they're not using AI when they are. So it's the same with this sort of stuff. If a creator comes out and says, hey, guess what? What's the name of a company that I'll never work with? Fender have given me this free brand new Fender Stratocaster. I've been playing it. I think it's rad. I just need to let you know that Fender are vetting what I'm saying to you about Fender right now. This is an ad. I'd go, that's awesome. If I could get Fender to send me a brand new Stratocaster, I would also probably agree to say nice things about them. But I would tell you that that's the case. It's why, like, it's the opposite, isn't it? The only way you know is when people say, by the way, this was provided to me for free, but everything I'm saying hasn't been vetted by the company and these are my own opinions. The fact that we have to say that, because that's the exception, it's a bit rough, isn't it? But again, I don't begrudge Fender either, because they're going to give you a $5,000 guitar, and they don't want you to then go around and go, this is nothing. This is terrible. I would trade this on a Gibson in a second. And it'd be like, that's a very different type of guitar. I don't care. Give me more free stuff. But yeah. G'day, Tom Caraher. Yeah, looking forward to Creator Studio. We'll talk about that in a moment. Look, Fender, if you're out there and you want to pay me to say nice things about you, you know what? Let's talk. Let's have a chat. Apparently, this has been reported for a while, so take it with a pinch, grain, shaker, lake of salt. Apparently, we're getting a new AirTag. If, like me, you have an AirTag attached to everything because you're freaked out about losing your backpack, your wallet, your keys, your car, then this is good news because the AirTag launched in 2020 and hasn't changed. So it really hasn't had any new innovations. So we are thinking that a second generation AirTag is coming and it's expected in the next year with upgraded tracking hardware. It's going to use their ultra wideband tech. So the same sort of tech that you're finding in devices like your AirPods and your phones. So that you might have noticed that if you're trying to track something that has an AirTag, it's way less accurate than an actual Apple device. So your AirPods, they have what's called the UWB, the ultra wideband chip in them, which does that thing where it's like, to the point where I was trying to find the other day, and it's like, you're below them. I'm like, how do you know I'm below them? Because it can actually track your distance. So even though I was right there, I'm like, oh, they're upstairs. So I just went upstairs and found them in my daughter's room because that's where most things that are missing end up. But yeah, it'll be good to have newer AirTags. Look, I will definitely, for my essential items, if Apple released a better, more reliable AirTag, I will be all in. And look, I know it's really hard to do, but rechargeable AirTags would be great. Or some sort of solution, because the one thing we haven't, and I'll talk about batteries a bit later as well, but the one thing we haven't really solved for is the little coin batteries that we're using. They're terrible for the environment. They're super unsafe around little kiddies. And but we use a butt ton of them. Because how many little devices do you have, from guitar tuners through AirTags to remote controls for like your garages and your cars and your houses? Yeah, they've all got those little CR 2025s and 2032s, and they're no bueno. There's been some updates. Yeah, Find My has had some updates, and they've actually changed things about Find My to make that more accurate and more useful. So Find My is good, and you can actually get Find My in other non-Apple devices now, which actually do, ironically, sometimes have better chips in them than what the actual genuine AirTags do, which is always a bit funny. Quick drink, because I'm saying, see, Barry's clearly on the payroll. I've seen Barry's back room full of Fender gear, free payola from Fender. And see, now Barry's here in the chat telling you he likes Fender. Before we jump to the next one, if you'd like to hit the thumbs up button, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, the thumbs up button is just there. I know every YouTuber, every creator on the planet keeps telling you to hit the thumbs up and like and comment and subscribe and do all the things. But what it does do is it pushes the video out. So you might have noticed that there's been a lot of changes in the YouTube algorithm lately. Short videos are being super prioritized. Your feed is now showing you videos you've already seen before. It just wants you to sit there and comfort watch. It doesn't want to take any risks. It doesn't want to show you things that you might not definitely click on. So it makes it a little bit harder for folks like me who are trying to push out medium and longer form content like this show. So thank you to the two folks who just added to the pile of likes. I appreciate you. Yeah. Well, I've just upgraded to, I didn't get the Fender because I couldn't get it in Australia, but I got the D'Addario. The D'Addario tuner. I think, Mark Bro, did you say you had this one? And this is USB-C. I haven't charged it once. Like, it's lasted on the first battery charge that I gave it for, like, a month already. And, yeah, when I need to charge... In fact, you know what? I'm going to chuck it on and charge it right now. That's a good point. Let's just charge it. Although now I won't know how long it's actually going to last because it's blip. There you go. It's going to charge away. So yeah, I anything I possibly can that has a USB-C especially charger now, I just go to that because I want my entire world to be USB-C because I have so many. I have so many USB-C cables and places to charge things. It is super convenient. All right, that flashing's going to annoy me now. I'm going to turn it over. Just turn it over. Yeah, smack the thumbs up. Oh man, I've always secretly wished that YouTube would change the way things work, like change the thumbs up to a horns or something. So just so that everyone's video is completely out of date. They never will, but it would be great if they did. Or moved. I'll just hit the comments down below, and then YouTube just find this new method where actually comments work better above the video. So every time we say, "Oh, you'll find link in description down below," and then the description moves over to the top left corner of the video, it would kind of just make me laugh. I like that sort of chaos. That would be very fun. And thank you for the person who hit the thumbs down button. Shout out to my hate watchers. I don't have very many these days, but there are a few that will roll in here and go, "He didn't talk about GarageBand enough," or "He's a giant Apple fanboy. I'm going to hit the thumbs down button." Let's talk about Bitcoin. Oh, it went away. I had guilted them into removing it. Might have been an error. Let's talk about Bitcoin. It has dropped below $88,000, which sounds, like, oh, Bitcoin's worth $88,000 is kind of my first response. But apparently for those following the world of cryptocurrency, this is like oh no, it's dropping, bro. I've been hodling all this time and now it's gone down. And apparently there was a $315 million sell-off, which is very weird because $315 million of nothing was sold to no one for no reason, because that's what cryptocurrency is. I know, come at me, crypto fans, but cryptocurrency is a made-up thing and it doesn't have any link to any tangible product or service. And I haven't had an argument that actually changes or goes against that statement. Anyway, it does mean that this speculative, and it's all around this. AI is the same. Spotify is the same. Like a lot of the Elon Musk companies are the same. They are valued not based. So the way it used to work in the stock market and the way it used to work in technology was that you were valued based on the actual products and services you sold. So Microsoft were worth the amount they were because they were selling enough products to be worth the amount that they were. And the share price denoted that, to the point where the share price was worth whatever the value of the company is divided by the number of the shares. I know this is like 8th grade mathematics here, and that's what we all learned. That's what we learned in economics, is that's how things work. Supply, demand. You had your shares, you had your private company, and then when the private company got big enough that they needed to raise capital, raise money, they sold shares. People bought shares in the company. The company could use the money from those shares to make more and better products and services, thus making more profit, thus delivering value back to shareholders. That is simply not how the world works anymore. So we have companies like NVIDIA. We have companies like OpenAI. We have companies like the Bitcoin. I don't know, is Bitcoin a company? We have investment tools like Bitcoin. And all of these are based on market speculation. So these are just based on, I want to buy a thing and then sell it for a higher price. So winners and losers, because for this to be successful, unlike the way the old company models used to work, everyone could win, right? So the consumer could get a good quality product at a decent price. The company selling the product would mark it up maybe 30, 40%, and they'd make a decent chunk. And then they make 40% profit, of which they'd return 20% to shareholders and reinvest 20% to make more and better products. And then the consumer gets a newer, better version the next year. Pretty simple, right? But line go up, rich must get richer, poor must get poorer at the expense of others. And that's where we're at with this stuff. This is where it goes. And yes, this is the point. It converts to real dollars. Yes, but then you can ask this next question: what does real money even mean? Oh, we're getting all like existential here. But it's a finite pool. And when things go out of the realms of logic, like they become infinite, finite things become infinite, then there's got to be a payoff. Like someone has to lose. And that someone is the people who are trying to get into it now, who are buying it at the high prices and watching it plummet. So if you just bought a bunch of Bitcoin at 90,000 and now it's at 88,000 and you're freaking out, I don't know what to tell you, really. You've got more dollars than cents. All right. G'day, Mr. Fomiati. Hope you are doing well. Are BlackBerry still around? What did I see? There was a physical keyboard for an iPhone the other day that you could like whack on the bottom of your iPhone and use it like an old BlackBerry. And I was like, I don't know about that. I was all about the physical keyboard until I used my first iPhone. And then I'm like, the physical keyboard is dead. It is dead. Let's take it back. Well, look, those of us in the real world, for me, I am there. I provide services, and there's advertisers that advertise on those services, and then I make my money by people either supporting me directly or watching advertising, which is paid for by advertisers that pay through Google and then YouTube. So I don't have the benefit of inventing pretend money and then selling it. I could. Maybe I need to make a meme coin, the creator coin. Yeah. What would a meme coin for the online mobile music creating community be? A GarageBand coin, the garbage coin, the trash can coin. What would we have? The door coin, DAW. Yeah. The hype coin. What would it be? The logic coin? No, that's trademark. Couldn't use trademark property. Let's get a good idea for a meme stock that we could invent, and we can all make lots of money. We can hype it all up, and then we can pump and dump it. We can get all the poor suckers out there, all the crypto bros, to think it was going to be the next big thing, and then we would all sell it just before it drops in value. There you go. And then they're all stuck with their treble coin, clef coin, stave coin. What's the nerdiest musical term that we could go? A floorf coin? Yeah, cat coin. Oh, VST coin. Yes, AUV3 coin. You can just name it after all the different plugin standards. Oh, what was that? The iLock coin. You could just market it as the most annoying thing to ever come to crypto, just like the iLock was to be the most annoying thing to come to plugins. Hello from PA. We've got more PA folks. G'day. Hermit the Rob. Live from Pennsylvania, USA. I hope you are not buried in snow, my friend. Yes, we've got Thomas Christ here also in PA. I reckon I know every state's abbreviation. I think I've played so many sports games and I've seen so many like movies and TV shows that I know, like, as soon as I see like NV, I'm like, oh, Nevada, so yeah, California, NY, New York, and like, and then so the Minnesota and like ones are a bit hard because like there's MI, which I think is Michigan, and MN is Minnesota. So why they named two and isn't Miami? No, Miami's a city in Florida, which is FL. Yeah, but yeah, why they named like Minnesota and like, and isn't there Missouri as well? Aren't there like multiple states that all start with MI? Couldn't they have come up with like at least every state should have a different first two letters? And then you wouldn't have that problem. Anyway, and isn't Oklahoma the same? It's like, okay. All right, there we go. This is fun. If you didn't know, if you're still suckling at the Spotify teat, first of all, I feel very sorry for you, but it's okay. There's support groups available. But YouTube Music, if you didn't know, you can sign up to YouTube Premium and you get not only YouTube Premium, which allows you to have premium features on YouTube, and those premium features include no ads, they include offline listening, they include the ability to download your videos and watch them offline, and they also, your YouTube Premium also includes YouTube Music, which is an entire catalog of music. It used to be called Google Play Music, and then they bundled it all together, called it YouTube because branding, because YouTube's cooler than Google, and they knew it. So if you get YouTube Premium, you get YouTube Music for free, and it has almost the exact same catalog as Spotify, but in my opinion, is actually even better because it integrates. If you search for something in YouTube Music, it also integrates all of the videos on YouTube. So if there's something super obscure that's not actually been released, but a weird bootleg or live recording of it can be found on YouTube, you can still listen to it and add it to your YouTube Music playlist. And that's even more important now because YouTube have just changed the way that YouTube Music works, and it now syncs across all your devices. So if you're using a phone and a tablet and a desktop, it'll now sync across those. So think about this. You're sitting here at your computer in your home studio and you're listening to a bunch of music because maybe you're trying to get some reference tracks. You're going to use these for your mixing and your mastering of your new song. So you're getting together a whole bunch of reference tracks, and they're all in your YouTube playlist, your queue, and then you're like, oh, I got to go. And you grab your phone and you fire up YouTube Music, and that same queue that you were listening to on your desktop is now on your phone. Now, you could have done this with playlists, of course, for the longest time, but the fact that, your queue now syncs across those, because you know what it's like. You're syncing up a bunch of songs. You're like, I want to hear this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And you're like, I don't want to go and set all that up again. Well, now you got the additional feature of being able to do that. And I know Spotify have done this for years, etc., etc. But a bit like when we applaud Apple for catching up with things. Let's applaud. Let's give them a little round of applause that they're still doing good things. Who else has joined us here? Hugh Caldwell, g'day to you. We've got Tremor Bear, hello to you. Ed Z. Zielinski is here. Hello to Ponk80, good to see you. Is there anyone I've missed? If I have, I hope you're all doing well. If you're working and lurking and doing your thing, that's all good in the hood. I had one more item here because I thought this was cool. We were talking before about batteries. And look, I have, at any given time, I have a massive stack of AA's, AAA's, and especially for my guitars and my pedals, 9-volt batteries. And yes, you've been able to get 9-volt, like rechargeable 9-volt batteries and rechargeable AA's, but they are a pain in the butt. Let's admit it. Hands up who actually uses rechargeable batteries all the time. Look, I'm lefty, hippie, greeny Johns, and I still admit that I pollute the world. I do recycle them. So once they're dead, I do take them to one of those recycling places, usually Aldi. Aldi always have a good battery recycling thing in the corner. But yeah, I do use one-use batteries. And rechargeable batteries have always, originally they were that sort of nickel cadmium, and then they changed to being whatever the newer one was. Not alkaline? You know what I'm trying to say though. The ones that we lithium ion. But they never worked that well. They always had lower lastability, and you then have to have a separate charger, which you'd have to plug into the wall and then charge them up, and they never charge. Anyway, it was a bit of a pain. So Ernie Ball, who are makers of the cables that I use and some of the picks that I use, have come out with a new product, and I think this is kind of genius. It is USB-C. Remember how earlier I said I loved USB-C? USB-C rechargeable batteries. So they come in both AA, like this, a little 4-pack of AA, and a 2-pack of 9 volts. And look at this. This is cool. They actually have the little USB port built into the battery and a little USB charger cable. So you can charge these up anywhere, on the go, from a power bank, from any USB socket. And look, there's USB sockets everywhere. I want to take these on a plane and just freak them out because they're very scared of batteries at the moment. I want to take these on a plane and just plug them in on my tray table. And they'll be like, sir, please stop recharging your rechargeable batteries with a battery. Oh, that's what I'd do. I'd get a big, no-name, unbranded, unlabeled power bank and stick that on my tray table and then plug 2 of those into it. and have that charging off a second power bank. Have you ever done that? Have you ever charged a power bank from a power bank? You feel like some sort of mad scientist. Oh, I'm going to explode. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think it'll be, I definitely want to try them out. So they're not cheap. $30 for 2, but I pay probably $25 for a 4-pack of Energizers. So, and if you can use them again and again and again, and you've always got a couple of them handy, and when you don't, you can just charge them and then put them away. I don't know. I think I think it would be nice for pedals. I bought the same batteries as those from Amazon. They are good and swam to last. So, okay. So, yeah, there's probably other brands that have done similar sorts of things. I just like the fact that that Ernie Ball is there. Yeah, exactly. Spot on. Rechargeable means never charged when you need it. Exactly. Yeah. I know. Look, I'm the same. I like things that either don't require charging or just like my iPads just live plugged in. I know I could use them around the place, but I've mostly because I use a powered USB hub as well. Kind of always that $38 for 4 on Amazon. So now I'm going to go to Amazon.com and I'm going to search for USB. What brand did you get? Because maybe I'll put them to the test. Chargeable 9-volt. Let's see. I'll just come over here. Okay. So there's the Waypro. There's Energon. See, this is the problem. I trust Ernie Ball more than I go, I'll just buy some Waypro. But yeah, they look like they are definitely cheaper. Okay, that's the same sort of thing. What are these? These are Bump NIM AA batteries. Okay, so here I am. As usual, John's is excited about a technology that has clearly existed for a long time already. So Energon. There you go. Energon is cool. I use carbon batteries and have on-off pots installed in my fuzz pedal. Batteries that are now 5+ years old and testing as new. Wow. Yeah. So look, if you're already a giant pedal nerd, you've already got a better power solution. Let's be honest. You're not unplugging and replugging in Duracells or Energizers on the regular, are you? You've got a better power situation for your pedal board. But for those of us that occasionally will throw our Boss DS1 into our chain, yeah, not so much. Question time. Oh, I did see a question earlier. Hello, adorable Anarchy, by the way. I think Al Davis had a question and I completely ignored it, which is very, very rude of me. But let's go back and find that question. And then I've got another couple of questions that came in through the week. Al says, I've been given the chance to compose music for a video game and been asked how much I'd charge as my first paid commission for a game. I don't know what to charge. What's the going rate? What a great question. It is interesting. What do you charge for work? And there's sort of two ways to look at this. And so I do a little bit of freelance work, and I charge on a bit of a sliding scale, depending on the project, depending on the level of effort, and depending on the time it's going to take. So you can either charge by time, so how much time you think you're going to take, and that's safer for you. But it can also be harder to convince someone to pay for your time. They might not believe that it's going to take you a certain amount of time, or they think that it's not efficient, or you can do it by the project. And that's even harder because it really depends. And look, I haven't done video game music, but for mixing and for mastering, I've seen people in Facebook groups charging $20 to mix an entire song. And look, that's fine. That's acceptable. That's okay to do, but what sort of quality are you going to get out of that? And working for $20 that might take you 4 hours, that's not minimum wage. So it's a bit rough. And not to mention that it does kind of cut the lunch of people for whom this is an actual job. So yeah, the way I look at it is you've got a particular sort of skills and people are paying for those skills. So for me, if it's things like production advice or it's things like mixing, it depends, but my general going rate is around about $60 US per hour, which equates to around $80, $90 an hour Australian. And that's because I have a decade of experience in mobile creating and recording and mixing and mastering. And look, there's different projects. If I'm doing a big chunk of work, it might reduce. If it's a very small piece of work, but very particular, then it might be higher than that. The other thing you can do is do it by the song. So if they're like, we need 4 tracks, you can say, okay, at $50 a track or $100 a track or $200 a track, you can actually go with that. You can also go online and just sort of ask the question. In fact, why don't we... Let's see. Let's put AI to the test. Let's burn a few trees. No, I know people don't like it when I say that, and I don't really like it because it makes me feel bad. But okay, I'm just going to say I'm a first-time producer of video game music working on my first project. What is a reasonable amount to charge based on the going rate? Let's see what ChatGPT comes back with. Okay, so this is interesting. So this is where it's at. Per minute of finished music, the most common industry model for game music pricing. Entry level, beginner, first project, limited credits, US 50 to 150 per minute of finished music. Low mid level, 150 to 300. Mid tier, 300 to 500. Experienced and professional indie composers, $500 to $1,000 per minute. We should also Jamie Mallender does a lot of this stuff, so I'd reach out to Jamie Mallender. Per track, flat project fee. So you can do 8 background tracks. You can do flat bass based on the per minute rate, like 8 times 2 minutes, etc. And then you've got your hourly rate. So beginner to intermediate, 25 to 75 per hour. Experience, 75 to 150. So similar sorts of things to what we were talking about there. That's a good way to do it. I'd never really thought about the per minute, but I guess per minute makes a lot more sense because you know how I said before, if I do buy a project, most people, if I'm mixing a song and I'm doing a song for them, it'll be like a pop song or a rock song. It'll be 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. Someone's got like a 13-minute prog rock epic that changes keys and changes time signatures 17 times. That's obviously going to be much harder to arrange, edit, mix, master than a 3-minute punk song with 3 chords. So if you do it just purely by song, you're probably going to get yourself caught out. If you do it by time, then those longer projects probably become unfeasible. People won't want to pay for your time for that much. But per minute, I might actually steal that. I think that's a good model. Because the more minutes there are, the longer it's going to take you, isn't it? So hopefully that helps you, gives you a place to start. There's a great YouTube channel, created channel by Warren Hewitt. Yes, Produce Like a Pro. Produce Like a Pro is awesome. I love Warren Hewitt. I don't agree with him on everything, on all of his ways of doing things, but he's definitely very knowledgeable. Produce Like a Pro. Yeah, if you haven't checked out Produce Like a Pro with Warren Hewitt, he's a very fun British guy with very suspiciously dark hair and cool sideburns. At least last time I saw him, and he's probably over at NAMM right now as well. There he is. Look, here's the shorts. The shorts. It just brings up shorts. But yeah, there he is. Produce Like a Pro. So cool stuff there. What happens when you search me? Is it just all my shorts now? Pete John's shorts. Yep. Hey, what? Why have I got? Is there a skateboarder called Pete Johns? That's weird. Okay, this is an interesting way to find all the other Pete Johnses around there. So 2 of the Pete Johns things are Jane Starr, but they're related to me. That's weird. All right, so yeah. By the way, I got a tip the other day. If you're searching on YouTube, if you've got all selected, it'll always give you 10 shorts at the top now. If you change it to videos, it'll go back to putting it in proper spaces with all of your videos there. Pete Starr and Jay, we've smooshed into one. You say that, Mark. You say that, mate. See what you did? Look what you made me do. You made me show you my shorts. It is 43 degrees today. Yes, I'm a massive Eels fan. T-Soups. Their album Daisies of the Galaxy is one of my favourite all-time albums. I've listened to it probably 100+ times, and they absolutely nailed it to the point where when I got married, we played Mr. E's Beautiful Blues as the end of the ceremony. So no, we didn't get married in a church. Thanks for asking, considering the hook of that song is "Goddamn Right, It's a Beautiful Day." It wasn't. It was about 18 degrees and rainy, but it was a beautiful day because I got married to my wife. Oh. But yeah, Eels have some great production techniques. Like they were in the 90s, they were using horns and they were using acoustic guitars and they were using really cool like synth sounds and sweeps and filters and they were a bit like Muse and a bit like Tool. They were rock and they were cool and they were alternative. But like Beck was kind of the same. They weren't afraid to try different things and styles and production techniques to make their songs stand out. We've got a beep, beep, beep. I wonder what that was from. Ah, dear. Let's move on. So I had a couple of questions that came in through the week. What was a not a heated discussion, but there's been a few heated discussions these days around virtual instruments, in particularly virtual drums. And I would hazard to guess that drums or drummers are the most non-real played instruments of all instruments. So most people, when you're creating a new song, most people like me, you're a guitarist. You've got a guitar. You've probably got an acoustic and electric. Many of us even have a bass guitar. You're adding vocals. You're singing your vocals in. Yeah, that's cool. You might even have a keyboard or a MIDI keyboard or an electric piano or a synthesizer or something, and you're playing your keys parts. Very few people have their own drum kit, especially their own acoustic drum kit. So adding virtual drums has been something we've been doing for decades. Like GarageBand added the drummer, which back in those days, and Patrick talks about this a lot from the GarageBand guide, we didn't call it AI drummers. We just called it an automatic drummer or an automated drummer or a virtual drummer or machine learning. This artificial intelligence label that we've stuck on everything has only been a recent thing. So people saying, oh, well, if you're using fake drums, artificial drums, virtual drums, it's cheating, it's no good, it's terrible. I just don't see the harm in it. Now, I'm not a drummer, so maybe that's why. Maybe if I was a drummer and I made my living drumming on things and I see all these people, maybe it's the AI music equivalent. So drummers have been angry about this for 20 years, except they forgot. They forgot why they were angry. Oh, drummer jokes, so boring. But yeah, so maybe they've actually been angry for a long time about the fact that we all use virtual drummers. But I don't see the harm in that. And I also don't see the harm in virtual keys and autoplay in GarageBand and people using the virtual guitars in GarageBand. I would rather them actually create music using whatever tools are there than not create at all, because we can't all be perfect at every instrument. Not everyone has access to a full band or to a professional studio drummer. Now, that skirts the edge, doesn't it, of hypocrisy for me, because I also don't like the prompters. I don't like the people that just enter words into a AI music creation tool and create a song. Yet I don't mind when someone just grabs Gavin or Anders or Kyle or Leah and plays a drum part in. I think that I'd actually think it's better because you're kind of instructing them, because the way virtual drummers and AI drummers work is you're actually instructing them with what you want, and then you're tweaking it, and then you're tweaking it again, and then you're going to regenerate it, and then you're going to add in a manual pattern, and then you're going to put in a gap and a stop, and then you're going to add fills, and then you're going to remove fills. So it's more like you're actually an engineer, more like you're actually doing the arranging as opposed to doing the playing. Now, that's my view. And you may have a different view, and others definitely did. But I don't know. I think for the most part, using a drummer AI, using an AI drummer, a virtual drummer, is okay. And again, not that you have to go out there and say, "Here's my brand new song. The drums are virtual." Like, that's probably not required, but definitely don't pretend they're not. Definitely don't say, "Oh yeah, I recorded this in a small basement studio and we had an old Pearl drum kit and I was bashing out the drums." No, if you didn't do it, don't claim you did it. No good. Drum is 50% of the chip. Well, yeah, that's the thing. They are definitely big. Exactly. It's like getting a free session musician. Yeah. I'm so grateful to find a drummer who lives near me who wants to play on my originals, because they are hard to find. Exactly. That's right. It doesn't require credits. You don't have to pay every single time. You don't have to put a prompt in and then get something completely different. So yeah. One more question. How do I automate pitch bends in Cubasis 3 on iOS? I'm going to be honest with you, Al. I haven't used Cubasis in over a year. And I know they've brought out new features. They've updated it. I should be using it. Unfortunately, due to a bunch of other things going on, I just haven't had the time and energy to go back into Cubasis. So I don't know. I'm sure that there is something out there about that. Automate pitch bends. Cubasis does have a decent automation engine. I'm going to just search it in Cubasis. Let's see if anyone's got anything here that they've done. Of course, it's all there's Cubase pitch bend. How to make your 808 slide, glide, and bend in Q. Oh, look, we've got a mobile music pro. There you go. You can go check out our old friend from Mobile Music Pro. And looks like he's got some slides and glides and bends. So yeah, I reckon there'd be some tutorials online. I would love to help you out, and if you get really stuck, let me know. But I will admit that I haven't touched Cubasis in a long time, and I'll tell you when things work for me, but I'll also tell you when things don't. So let's finish off here by talking about Apple Creator Studio. It is coming. It is coming on the 28th, which is probably the 29th for us here in Australia, which is why I keep getting confused. So it'll be the 26th, which means it's only 2 days away for you and for me, and we will then be able to get our filthy little hands on all the new versions. So if you've been living under a rock, or are just a regular person and don't have all the time in the world to read all the latest Apple news, Apple Creator Studio, what's it going to bring? Well, it's bringing together Logic Pro, it's bringing together Pixelmator Pro, it's bringing together Final Cut Pro, all into one neat little package. And on iOS, it is going to be a subscription. Look, it's going to be a subscription on not iOS as well, but you can still purchase outright, at least for now. And look, if you were ever going to purchase Logic Pro or Final Cut Pro or Pixelmator Pro on your Mac, I'd kind of do it soon. I have no inside knowledge whatsoever, but it's very clear that the Apple Creator Studio and subscriptions are the future. I think that for $12.99 US, $19.99 Australian, and from $2.99 for the education pricing, I think it's actually pretty good. I think some people that simply couldn't afford $200 or $300 for a piece of software will definitely do the free trial and will definitely consider paying $12.99 for all of the apps, because you get Keynote and you get all the iLife suite as well as your Pixelmator, your Logic, and your Final Cut Pro. So what am I looking forward to? Logic Pro. I am going to try Final Cut Pro, and I will be trying Pixelmator Pro. In a perfect world, Final Cut Pro will integrate so beautifully into GarageBand and Logic Pro and my entire iOS and iPadOS and macOS workflow that I will stop using LumaFusion and switch to Final Cut Pro. The proof will be in the pudding as to whether that will actually happen. I love LumaFusion. I've been using LumaFusion for 7 years now, 6-7 years, as long as it's basically been available. And I use it on my phone as well as on my iPad. I use it for short videos. I use it for long form videos. I use it for editing live streams. I use it for everything. So it'll be interesting to see whether there's enough in Final Cut Pro that will lure me over to using it. Pixelmator will be interesting, because Pixelmator is professing to be, if we come down here, is going to be imaging and design made for everyone. Now, I'm a Canva user currently, and I know other people use other things for your image editing. Patrick's a Photoshop guy. He's a lot smarter than me, so he can use Photoshop. Again, Patrick from the GarageBand Guide. And I know he's excited to see whether this will do the same stuff that his Photoshop does. And I'm definitely very keen to see if it does the same thing that my Canva does. Because if I can create my thumbnails, if I can do my basic image editing, because all I really do is remove backgrounds, add in a few little images, put some text titles in there, and that's about it. Some borders and things. And look, Canva does that all well, but not perfectly. So if I've got, and again, the benefit of this is being on device as opposed to in the cloud. There have been times where there's been an AWS outage, there's been a cloud outage, and I've gone to my Canva and I haven't been able to get to my images. Look, it's been rare. They've probably, in my experience with Canva, I would say it's probably a 99% uptime. So it's like 1% of the time I can't get to my stuff. But if it happens to be that one time where I'm trying to get a video out and I can't download the thumbnail I created yesterday because it's stuck in the cloud and I can't get to it, that's a pain. So having my own personal cloud compute with these sort of apps will be very interesting. And Logic Pro. So the fast track to the final mix, wherever you go, it's Logic Pro. So there's a couple of things that I'm looking forward to with this. Primarily, look, the synth player will be fun. More session player instruments. Did I want a guitar player? Sure. Do I want like a vocal session player? Yeah, that'd be rad. But hey, synth player, we're on the right track with that. A lot of the other stuff it's showing here is stuff that's already there, like your stem splitters and your integration within voice memos. But yeah, having synths in there is cool, and it doesn't have it here. But the two features that I'm looking forward to that are on the other page, the newsroom that I've gone through in other videos, you can find on the channel here if you want to learn all about those, is the chords ID. And funnily enough, just before the show, I went looking to see if I could still get hold of music memos. And the short answer is I couldn't. But someone has jumped on it. Someone has jumped on music memos. And I thought this was pretty funny. I haven't tried this. I have no idea if this is any good. But I got a little bit excited because I'm like, oh, it's back. Music memos is back. But it's 100% not, because here it is. This is music memos, right? Chords and lyrics. Nomad AI OU. Separate stems, midify, and more. So it'll be interesting to see if this actually... It looks like it's got a pretty similar layout. And guess what happens? Hey, Apple, if you don't want to keep supporting your products, other people will make products and do it for you. So that's an interesting looking app. And look, I'm not a big app guy, as you know, but I loved music memos. And if there is something that kind of does the music memos thing that's even called music memos, then I might have to check it out. It is, of course, a freemium model, so you can download it for free. And then it has in-app purchases, which without even looking at this, I can guarantee you that it will be a subscription. Does it have? Sometimes it tells you what the in-app purchases are. I will just assume it's a subscription. Nothing like this will ever just be a free downloadable standalone app. There you go. It's a cut down version of Chord AI. There you go. There you go. Still blows my mind how flexible and awesome GarageBand Drummer is. Yeah. And even though the user interface seems a bit silly, it's so user friendly. It is. And I must admit, going from GarageBand to Logic Pro, even though you got a heap more power and a heap more features, yeah, it's just a little bit more fiddly, isn't it? And sometimes I get a better or as good result using the GarageBand virtual drummer, because it just kind of works. There you go. It does look better than the OG. Maybe I'll try it for stuffs and giggles. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Chord ID because I want to be able to do that. Because one of the things, like if you watched my Song Timber song last year, I spent probably a good half an hour setting up the chords, and that was once I got used to it. So you can enter chords by like clicking and tapping at the top and then putting the chord ID in. You can even play them in on a MIDI keyboard if you've got a MIDI keyboard attached, which is kind of cool. And then when you've got repeating sections, you can copy and paste it. But it's so clunky. Sometimes you go to move it and it doesn't move properly, and sometimes you go to edit it and it puts it in the wrong spot. Like it wasn't well designed, let's be honest. But if we can now just grab any piece of audio, any MIDI track, and one of the first things I'm going to do is I'll be doing a deep dive into this. So I'll be doing live streams where I'm like, let's record everything. Let's do a keyboard part. Let's do a bass part. Let's do a guitar, acoustic, electric. Let's get a whole band recording. Let's get some of my old songs and throw them in there. See if it can find the chords of like my old songs. This is what I'm interested in, is what will the actual utility of this be, and will it work effectively enough? Because I've seen things like this before that get it kind of right, which most of the time is good, but sometimes it leads you down a path where you're like, I probably could have just done this by myself easier. And it is. Extracting chords from audio is a perfect AI job. And from MIDI, I mean, we should have already had MIDI. Let's be very honest. We should have already had MIDI. If you play in a MIDI sequence, the notes are already there. There's no AI required to work out that C, E, G is a freaking C major chord. But yes, having an engine to do it for audio will be very cool indeed. And the other thing that I'm, as the kids would say, low-key excited about is the new comping feature. I don't use comping. I famously thumb my nose at comping. It doesn't mean I don't do multiple versions of a track to get multiple takes, but I don't use the comping feature for a couple of reasons. One is that I usually use my second, third, or fourth track as a double at some point, so there's no point having it in a comp and recording it all on the one track, because then I'd have to separate it out anyway. But the other reason is the comping within GarageBand and even in Logic Pro has always been so fiddly and so clunky. It's never worked properly. Like you've never been able to easily comp together mold. And something like Cubasis actually does a much better job of this. Again, yeah, Apple are behind in a lot of these things. Like I think even Auria had a decent comping engine. So improvements to comping will actually help. Because I'm thinking in terms of a singer-songwriter, right? I'm thinking grabbing my guitar, strumming in some chords, getting it to analyze those chords to add some keys or bass or drums really quickly, and then I record in like my vocal line 4 or 5 times, and then I just go, boom, demo. Like that will speed up the process for writing a song demo, because I won't have to really think. I'll be like, throw the session bass on there, throw the session drums, record my guitar in, grab the chords from that so the bass player knows what to follow, and then do my audio for my vocals, do a few takes, comp together the best one, boom, done. So if that's where we're at with this, I'm on board. A lot of the other bells and whistles, the music understanding and the synth player, I'll have a fiddle with. I'll definitely demo them here, but not as excited about the quality of life changes that will help those like us that are creating music. All right. That is going to do it, folks, for this one. I would want to say a big thank you to everyone for your support over the weekend. As you can tell, still not 100%. Still got a bit of the croaky voice. Still got a bit of the stuffy head, but I'm definitely on the improve. We've got Frank Terzo and the Community Pulse. And guess who he's got on today? I was pretty blown away by this. He has Stephen Hewitt. Yes, that's Stephen Hewitt. If you don't know Stephen Hewitt, he creates videos, he creates music, he's a multi-instrumentalist. He has how many videos now, Thomas Christ? Something like 20,000 videos on his YouTube channel. He does a lot of like drone footage. He drives around Queensland. He's Australian. Drives around Queensland taking footage and putting that to music. He's a really interesting dude. So I'm looking forward to hearing from Stephen Hewitt. And the 99th Community Pulse. I wonder what Frank's got up his sleeve for show number 100. But yeah, if you'd like to go over and check that one out, you'll be sent there straight after this show. There's the link for you. Thomas Christ has already hit it. There you go. Thank you. What would Bark have entered into the AI prompt if you wanted to create a Bark cantata? Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Make a quality piece. Make something that will make everyone fop till they drop. Something like that. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, T Scoops. Ed Z, thank you, Jade Star. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us here today. And like I say, we'll be back next weekend with a whole bunch more. We've got John Huggett from Indie Over 50. He'll be joining me for the Creator Town Hall, which will be rad. We'll be doing some Born in the USA. Yeah, we're jumping over to the US for this week's happy hour, playing some great US artists, just to prove that as much grief as I give the US, I actually love a lot of the music that comes out of there. And I love all you folks, because you are not your country. Your country is not you. You are cool folks, and there's plenty of cool folks in the US of A. So we'll be playing some USA tracks. And then, of course, we've got Your Music Live and GarageBand Weekly. We'll also be jumping online. Once Apple Creator Studio does come out, I will be, no doubt, doing some pop-up streams and jumping in there and taking a look at it. So keep subscribed and keep your notifications on so you can find out when I'll be doing that, or keep your eyes on the socials as well. Thanks for being here. As we say at the end of each and every show, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Keep creating. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.